welcome to Teaching with Mrs. B. I am Mrs. B, or Lindsay, whatever you prefer. That cute thing right there is Lubelle, and this is Ruby, and they want to be in the video with me. And I'm sitting on my office floor, which is how these videos are probably going to go until I get back to my classroom. So we're just going to deal with our special guest for the summer. Yes, thank you. So if you don't know, Huskies are very much pack dogs. They like to be with their pack, with their owners, and so locking them out of my office was not an option because they would be making more noise. So we're gonna have a visitor today, 2 visitors. She'll probably be more calm than this one. Back up. All right, guys, so here's what happened. I was going to film this video for y'all yesterday, and I started filming, and then I thought I saw a mouse outside because like right behind you guys there are 2 sets of windows in our front porch, and so I was like, that can't be a mouse. So I stopped filming and I went out there and I looked and I didn't see a mouse. So I was like, okay, well maybe I'm just seeing stuff. And we have like those bushes with the long leaves. So I thought, okay, well maybe I'm just seeing things, whatever. Come back in here, see the dang mouse again. Then that turned into a whole thing because it was like a baby mouse, like the size of like a silver dollar. And I was like, oh my gosh, this poor thing can't fend for itself. I'm a huge animal lover. And so I started calling like rescue places around. We live in a smaller town, so they do a lot of wildlife rescue, and there's a lot of construction going on behind us, so I knew like he had been disrupted from his nest. I'm not sure what they live in. And so I call and they're like, oh no ma'am, that's not a baby mouse, that's a baby possum. And I'm like, are you sure? They're like, yeah, no, that's a baby possum. I was like, oh, okay. So then I find a possum rescue group in the town that I live in. Whole long thing. I put him in a little Tupperware container. Don't worry, I'm burning the Tupperware container. I don't know if he had disease or anything like that, sweet little guy. I put him in there with like an old t-shirt rag. I just like wrapped him up with dish gloves on the whole entire time when I picked him up. Drove him about 10 minutes away, and then turns out that it was a mouse all along, a field mouse, which I thought, and the lady kept telling me, no, it's a possum. So my family thinks I'm an idiot. My friends and family think I'm an idiot because I was like, I found a baby possum. I was like, but guys, you don't realize, like, I thought it was a mouse. Anyway, that was the situation with filming yesterday. So we're gonna film today. We're gonna film more than one video. So if you see me in this shirt in a lot of my first few videos on this channel, that's why. Also, I'm a Texas teacher, so this long hair that I have, I love my hair. It's gonna be up for a lot of videos because it's hot. Okay, so I have had a teaching Instagram for, gosh, 3 years now, almost 4. Actually, I think this may be year 4. No, it's year 3. Year 3, sorry. So I've had a teaching Instagram, Teaching with Mrs. B, for 3 years, and I love it, but I didn't stay consistent with it. And, you know, my first year teaching was interesting, and then my second year teaching got really crazy, and then last year there was the moment where I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher, so, which obviously I do. So she's so pretty. I just love my babies. Anyway, so I've always wanted to do teaching YouTube. I've always wanted to be part of the teaching community here on YouTube, here on Instagram, and it just never really has worked out with timing, and honestly I just lacked confidence in myself. So anyway, this is like a 3-minute intro, whatever. So I got this idea I was like, you know what, this summer I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start my teaching Instagram. I feel more confident in myself. I feel more solid in myself. You know, last year part of the reason I didn't do it is because we bought a house and it was crazy. And we built the house during my second year of teaching, so yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna do the teaching tag. The reason I brought all that up about the teaching community is because I got this idea from Michelle Ferré. She did the teaching tag. She's from PocketfulofPrimary. She did this 2 or 3 years ago. May have been 3. I don't know. But she did it, and then a bunch of other teachers did it too. And I thought, what a cool idea to have as my first video on my channel is a teacher tag. So I'll put the questions in the description box below. This, like I said, is my first video on my channel. If in the future y'all are coming, like future you is coming and watching this, please subscribe and be be a part of our family here and on this channel. I really want this to be a community. I really just want this to be a community where we can build each other up and support each other. Kind of like a professional learning community. PLC online. All right, so teacher tag. If you see me look down, it's because I have these right down here. All right, number 1 for the teacher tag questions. What do you teach and where? So I am a Texas teacher, and I teach 7th grade English language arts and reading. Well, I did last year. I don't know what I'm teaching this upcoming year. We got a new principal halfway through the year. So there's a new middle school being built. A lot of the teachers were mandatorily transferred, and so I don't know what I'm going to be teaching. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, how long have you been teaching? I have been teaching for, like I said, 3 years. 1920, so 2019, 2020 is going to be my 4th year teaching. And so in Texas, when you're studying to become a teacher, your first 55 hours, I don't know why I can't talk today. Your last year of college, when you're studying to be a teacher, you have obviously 2 semesters. So your first semester of your last year of college is your observation hours. You typically have to have 55 observation hours, and you go into classrooms and you see how they work, and you kind of just get a feel for the classroom. So I was placed with a very sweet lady who has become like a mama to me, and I still go to her. She's still my mentor, and I was placed with her for 55 hours for my first semester of my last year. I was very blessed and fortunate that I also spent my last year, or my last semester of my last year, my student teaching semester with her. So I really got to see the whole thing. I didn't get to see a first day because I didn't start with her until late September. I believe it was mid-September, I think. Anyway, and schools around here start mid-August. So she taught 7th grade English language arts and reading. My first job, which I'm still with, was 7th grade English language arts and reading. So I've been really only teaching ever 7th grade English language arts and reading. So like I said, that may change this upcoming year. I may loop with my 7th graders and go to 8th grade. I don't know. I should be finding out that soon. Okay. Number 3, did you always know you wanted to be a teacher? Yes. There was a period of my life from like age 17 to 21, 22, where I was like, here's my life path, and I kind of just went this way. I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go this way. But yes, I love, and especially an English teacher, I love books. I have been grabbing books and everything since I was a little kid. Like my mom used to take me to the library when I was a newborn and read books to me. So books have always just been an integral part of my life. So I always knew English teacher was a big thing for me. So I have so I would like line up my dolls, and I would get, like, my mom worked in an office and she had a cubicle and all that. So I would like get extra office supplies. And my stepdad was a special education aide for a little bit. So he had supplies. So I just had supplies I would teach to my dolls. So yes, I always know I wanted to be a teacher. Number 4, what is your typical teacher OOTD, which is outfit of the day? Typical. Okay, so New York & Company sells these pants that are like the best thing to have ever been invented. I'm telling you. Okay, so if you don't have a New York & Company, I'm sure other places sell them, but they're like the crop pants, like the pixie pants, like the 60s kind of looking pants where they're you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you know what you're gonna talk about. I'm not good with my editing skills yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put a video in there, but they're like dress capri pants. They're crop pants. They're pixie pants. Anyway, so it's those. But New York & Company, they look real professional, but they have a stretchy waistband. So it doesn't even feel like you're wearing real pants. They're the best thing. So I only own 2 pairs of full-length dress pants. Other than that, I wear my crop pants because they're comfortable. I'm very tall. I'm almost 6 feet tall, and I have a more thin figure. And so it just looks best with my figure, the crop pants with flats. That's kind of my style. So crop pants, flats, and then like a cute little top on, a little cute top, or like a tank top with a cardigan, something along those lines. I'm very big into crop pants, flats, and a cute top. Boom, easy, done. I only wear my rings, Very rarely will I put a pair of studs or earrings in. And then because of my badge, I have been wearing necklaces lately, like longer necklaces, but with my badge being around my neck, it's just easier to that's part of my outfit. So that's my typical OOTD. Number 5, what do you usually bring for lunch? If my office ladies were working this, they would laugh and say, she Uber Eats. Which the last month of school, like I was Uber Eating every day because it was background crazy, y'all. But no, typically it's just leftovers from the night before. Or if I'm in a really big hurry and I didn't have a chance to cook the night before, then it's like a sandwich. Super simple. So for lunch, it's like chicken and veggies, some kind of meat and veggies. I'm very like, I wouldn't say healthy because I eat fast food, but when it comes to cooking, I'm very simple, like meat and veggies done. Number 6, what is one of your favorite books about teaching? Oh gosh. Ruby Payne's Levels of Poverty. It's not a pedagogical book, but it's my student teaching principal, God love him, he suggested this to me, and I read it my year of student teaching and my semester of student teaching, and that book really teaches you, shows you who could be in your classroom and how to be the best person for them. So it's not a pedagogical, like it teaches you how to teach, but it teaches you how to be a human, like how to be a teacher. Does that make sense? So Ruby Kane's 5 Levels of Poverty. Also, I really like, and I don't know if I've got my teacher bag right here actually. So there are 2 books that our district provided for us. Yeah. All right, so these are the 2 books that our district provided for us, and I really clicked with these 2 books. So, and I want to get the writing strategies, but y'all probably have seen this everywhere. It's the reading strategies book by, I don't even know, Jennifer Saravallo. Anyway, that one is really good. I really enjoyed it. I pulled that out, and I like how it's organized. Like it's a really cool organization inside that book. And then the other one that my district started using last semester was this Grammar Keepers. I really like this one too, because in Texas with our state standards, they learn certain things, certain years about grammar. And so like, I can open this up and okay, say that I need to make sure they know how to have subject-verb agreement. Well, I can go to lesson 33 on this page, which is page 82. I should already know these. So on page 82, they have the teach it, the model it, the practice it, and they have it all broken out for you. So I really like this one for teaching grammar. When I was in, when I was doing student teaching, we did DOLs, Daily Oral Languages, and was that right, daily? I think that's right. I don't know. We don't do DOLs now. That was like 3 years ago. But when I was student teaching, we did DOLs, and they did the Giggly Guide to Grammar Giggly Guide, something like that. And that one was good, but I really love me some Grammar Keepers. So reading strategies and Grammar Keepers for all things like content. Those aren't really pedagogical. I mean, I guess kind of. Those are content. What else? The Ruby Kane's 5 Levels of Poverty. I haven't read anything like too, I'm trying to think. I'm literally blank. That's all I'm going to give you right now. This was one of my master's books, Understanding by Design, and I do keep going back to this one, so I probably could say this one, Understanding by Design. It's really good because it has like, it breaks down teaching and how to teach. So I would say this one, and then there's another one that I really like. It's Understanding and Using Educational Theories. I got this in one of my master's classes as well, and I really like this one. This one actually breaks down the theories. So Understanding by Design, Understanding and Using Educational Theories for pedagogical, and then Grammar Keepers and Reading Strategies for content, and then Ruby Kane's 5 Levels of Poverty are really good too. It's really good too. All right, number 7. What is one of your favorite teacher movies? Freedom Writers. I know it's so cliche, but the way that Hilary Swank. Why did I just call her Jennifer Garner? Anyway, the way that Hilary Swank portrays her caring about those kids is just, that's who I wanted to be. Like, I was like, that's it. I want to show my kids I love them. I'll do anything for them. You know, I don't have this like Michelle Pfeiffer, what is that movie? I can't remember the movies. I'm like blinking today. But I'm not like gonna go in there. Oh, Dangerous Minds. Is it Dangerous Minds? I'm not gonna go in there and be like, hey, like I'm gonna go into an impoverished area and make a difference. Like, I'm not saying like that. You can make the biggest difference in the most affluent classrooms. So it wasn't even that aspect of Freedom Riders. It was the relationships she built with her kids. Does that make sense? All right, number 8. Who was your favorite teacher? 3 come to mind. Miss Brunig, who was my 3rd grade teacher. My parents were going through a divorce at that time. And she, I don't know if it was because of that, like that were my emotional needs she really met that year. Or I don't know, because her classroom, I can still imagine it. Like, it was just the best classroom. And she was so sweet and she was so caring and she pushed me. She saw like my potential and she was just a great teacher. So Miss Brunig, 3rd grade teacher. My 7th and 8th grade English teacher, she looped with us, Miss Leone. I still remember things that she taught us and use those things in my classroom. Like, oh, I just love her. And then this lady, Miss Springstead, she grinded my gears. Like, I could not stand her. Like, but she was they were all reading focused. Like, Miss Bruning was so big on reading. Miss Leonie was obviously an English teacher. And then Miss Springstead was my AP English teacher. And that woman drove me up the wall, y'all. But now I look back at it and she challenged me so much. Like, yeah, she irritated the crap out of me. But I learned. Okay, number 9. Oh, and then I have a favorite professor, Dr. Upchurch. He was phenomenal in college. He really saw something in me I didn't even see. So for college, gotta remember those college professors. All right, number 9. Who are some of your favorite teacher YouTubers or Instagrammers? So Being Ladylike Teaching Carrie's awesome. She lives in Portland with her wife, Patricia. I love her. And then, who else? Michelle Ferré from PocketfulofPrimary. Fernanda from That One Happy Classroom. Too Cool for Middle School. Real Rap with Reynolds. I kind of like the basic ones. EB Academics. I really like them. I'm blanking. I'll put the ones that I really like in the description box below so y'all can go follow them. They're awesome. I just really like them. And even though that they're primary teachers, I still use some of their stuff in my classroom. Like, oh, who is it? Kindergarten Smorgasbord. Greg from Kindergarten Smorgasbord. He uses a wireless doorbell and he teaches kindergarten. I use a wireless doorbell and I teach 7th graders. Like, the teaching community is so great because they present things that can be scaffolded or tailored to fit any classroom. So, all right, and like I said, I'll put the rest of them below because I'm blanking. Number 10, what is one of your best classroom management tips? Honestly, build relationships. If you build relationships and you build a level of understanding and respect, I can tell you guys, this just works, maybe this only works for middle school. Like I said, I've only ever taught middle school, but I can tell you, even with kids that I don't have in my room every day, if you build a relationship with them, like, hey bud, I love your shirt today, that's awesome. Be sure you walk in the hallways, please. Hey, I noticed, you know, you look like you're on a bad day yesterday, everything okay? Like, you build those relationships with those kids, and there comes a level of expectation where they don't want to disappoint you. So, like, say I have a kid who, you know, we build a relationship, even if it's the first couple of weeks, showing that you care about them, building that relationship, making that effort with them, you can say, you know what? I really am disappointed when these actions, no, I can't say that. You want to do an I statement. So when you're doing social emotional learning, like restorative practices, my school was really big into that. I went to a conference for it, and I statements is one of the biggest things that I took away from it. So like when you build those relationships, you can communicate your expectations better and communicate your disappointments in a more neutral way where the kids want to rise to meet your expectations. Does that make sense? So for instance, say little Ricky, I just made me laugh because of our little Lucy. Little Ricky, it's like October. we haven't known each other that long, but I say good morning to him every day. I, notice, if he got a haircut or if he's having a bad day or, open house. Hey, I really enjoyed meeting your mom. Your sister is so cute, something like that, right? So little Ricky comes in one day and he is interrupting. He's off task. He's riling the rest of the class up, and I can be like, hey, Ricky, okay guys, this is what I need for you to be doing. Ricky, can we talk out in the hall for just a second? Because you never want to chastise them in front of their friends, especially in middle school. So I take them out in the hall and be like, hey, but I feel really disrespected when I communicate expectations and I show kindness, and that kindness is met with disrespect. And then little Ricky can kind of stop for a second, and he can stop and think about that. Like, hey, here's this lady who's been trying, and I'm disappointing her. And I just let him sit with it, and then I'll go back inside. I'll be like, you know what, I want you to take a couple of seconds to think about that and how we could change it, and then you can come back in when you're ready to learn, okay? I have had more success with that than anything. And I only have one classroom rule, one. And it is always be respectful. So my first week of class, we talk about what does respect look like? What does respect look like to you? What does respect look like to me? What does respect look like in this classroom? So with restorative practices, they're called respect agreements. And so it's student to teacher, teacher to student to student, and environment. So those four things right there, I don't know why I said four like this, but those four things, we create a chart for each class. Now, if you're a lower grades teacher, you're gonna wanna do it for the lower, for one big. But for me, and I know some middle school teachers that will do like a whole huge respect agreement for all their classes, but that's just not practical to me because every class's dynamic is different. So we do a different one for each class. So they tell me what is, I give them a piece of paper and I tell them, break it into quadrants. And I tell them what the quadrants are, again, student to student, student to teacher, teacher to student, and environment. What does respect look like to this, okay? And then we fill it in on a big class chart, and then they all sign it and we keep it up there. And I'll be like, hey, remember, always be respectful. Hey, on our respect agreement on number 3 under student to teacher, I'm really noticing you're violating that respect agreement, and that's really disappointing me. So one classroom rule, always be respectful. Cover what that respect means to you and what it means to your students, what it means to the school. Like, what are your school's expectations for respect? And then lastly, just having those I statements and building those relationships with your students. So that's really what classroom management works best for me. Last question. What is one reason you decided to become a teacher? So I'm an only child, and I was lonely a lot of my childhood. Not real bad, but like there were times, and I was like I've been like almost 6 feet tall since like 6th grade. So let's just sit with that for a second. And tall girls, and I was skinny and I was awkward, and I did not have YouTube tutorials for cuteness in middle school, okay? Some of these middle school girls look better than I do on a good day, and I've had how many years to put on makeup. So I was just really awkward, and I'm a really big introvert. So middle school was rough, and going through my parents' divorce in elementary was rough, and finding myself in high school was rough. Childhood was just rough, you have these struggles. We didn't have what they have today with all the social emotional learning. So anyway, I wanted to become a teacher to be that voice for a student that needs it, to be that friend for that student that needs it, to be that champion for the kid that needs it, to be that helper, to be that light. I just love learning so much, and if I could just light that in them, like one kid, if I could make them love literature or love books, or if I could just get through to one kid, I always thought my whole career would be worth it. And I've had some amazing experiences over the past 3 years. So really, honestly and truly, what reason did I become a teacher? Because I wanted to make a difference, and I really wanted to be there for my kids. And I know that sounds weird, like thinking about a little kid being like, I want to be there for my kids, and you're a kid, but that's really how I felt. Like I could see myself in front of a room of kids and wanting to nurture them and love them and build them up and carry them places they didn't think that they could go. So that's why. So that is it. This is a long video. It's 24 minutes, but I'm not going to edit. I'm just going to throw it all in there. Ruby says bye. Lubel's back there asleep. Yep, there she is. She's back there asleep. And goodbye, and I will see you in my next video. Please subscribe if you like this video. Click the like button, and I'll link everything I said and mention everything I said down in the description box below. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.